Hi, everyone. This is Ray of the Fashion Pulpit, and welcome to the Power of Swapping podcast, another episode for us where we talked about, of course, clothing swap, the secondhand culture, and anything about sustainability to hear different stories. And this episode, we're taking you all the way to Calgary, Canada to hear the story of Ali, who is the founder of YYC Clothing Swap. So, hi, Ali. Thank you so much for
Hi,
taking the
Ray.
time
No problem. I love talking about clothing swap.
because now I think it's about 10:30 p.m. in your time,
Yes.
and in Singapore it's about 1
One.
p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, can you tell us more about yourself and how you started YYC Clothing Swap?
Sure. So I'm the founder of YYC Clothing Swap. For those who wondering what YYC is, it's a city code of Calgary. Um, and my professional background is a little bit different. I am actually an accountant. Um, Currently, I'm on maternity leave. I'm taking care of my baby, who's almost 4 months, and she is
Yay.
sleeping right now. So I have some free time doing this podcast.
Yes.
So how YYC Clothing Swap was started? I think back in 2018, at the end of 2018, I found out this documentary called The True Cost. So after watching it, it was such an eye opening for me that I was like, oh my God, I have no idea the clothes I'm buying here are hurting people on the other planet, as well as the environment. So I started Googling ways to reduce fashion waste, um, because like still love fashion, but I was like, but how can I do better? Right. So I found out that, okay, there's something called secondhand. People like selling secondhands in Facebook Market or Instagram, or you can go to a thrift store, as well as clothing swap. So I was like, okay, clothing swap sounds interesting to me. So it's like, how does that work? So I started looking into more, and then I found out that there's a local clothing swap event that's organized by Fashion Revolution. So I attended that event, and it was like, wow, like this is, I got hooked. I was like, this is such a great idea. Because when you think about clothing swap, you either swap clothes with your siblings or with your girlfriends, but you're swapping clothes with other people, like a community. So I was like, this is such a great idea. So I was like, so I created an Instagram account and then started following more people that like I basically searching all the account that has like swab or clothes, anything is like a hashtag. So I was
Yeah.
like, I think I follow about 200 people, but then
Wow.
60 to 70 of them are clothing swap related, and that's how I found you guys as well.
Yeah.
so so I just like learning how other people doing, and then I so I organized a few with my girlfriends and then told them this awesome idea, and then they're like, this is a good idea again. And then I see like a growing demand for it, and even
Mhm.
though I'm an accountant, I love planning events. I plan like a whole wedding myself. And my
Wow.
husband helped me too, but I love planning, even though it took like a year to plan my wedding. So I decided to organize like a larger scale of events to the public.
Mhm.
Um, so, and that's how I started.
Nice. And how
Yeah.
was the first public event that you've organized? How did you find
Um,
it?
so because it's like, I was thinking it's like a new idea, so I make it a free event on Eventbrite. I asked my friend to borrow his studio. It's like a dancing studio. Um,
Mm.
so he didn't charge me, which is great. um, so I remember there was about 15 people showed up, and
Mhm.
then 12 of them were my friends.
Very loyal friends.
So it was good. And then some of friends was like, I already had organized events with them before they came to my place for that. So
Mhm.
they loved the idea and they asked more friends to come, which is good. But then it was a little bit disappointed for me that only 15 people show up, because
Right.
it told me like not like a long time to plan it, but still like I put hours in it. I was like, oh, I want to make it cool. I want to like have music, have food,
Yeah,
all those
yeah.
things. But after the event, I took a lot of photos. So and then I post them on Instagram, and then people just started following my Instagram account. And then they're like, oh, this is how it works. This is such a cool idea. And yeah, so that's how the first event went.
Nice. So you think everyone was just waiting for you to post like a proof that this works and you can get like good quality items? Do you think so? That was just the push that they were waiting?
I would think so. And maybe I started following some local influencers as well, and
Mm.
use better hashtag. I'm not like super good at Instagram.
We're
I'm
all
still
learning.
learning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then just word of mouth, and then people just there's more and more people following me. And I also repost. I think I repost some of your posts too. I can't remember. um
Thank
yeah.
you.
And then like just keep educating this people these ideas, and then
Mhm.
putting out the message, not just clothing swap, but in general how bad the clothing industry is right now.
Right. Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, cool. And with the first swaps that you've organized, and obviously you've organized a few more, what were like some challenges that you faced in terms of like not just like the events organizing part,
Yeah.
but also on how you were growing the community?
I think the challenges was and is still right this day is educating people how this
Mhm.
event works, right? Like when people think about secondhand, they have this. Some people still have this negative stigma of
Right.
it's secondhand. I don't know who the previous owner is. Like there's hygiene issues,
Mhm.
um, but once they have seen it, how our event works, because when you come in, we check the quality of the clothes too. Make sure there's like no stain or no excess peeling. um, we tell the people make sure they check beforehand, so it saves us time during the quality check stage
Right.
too.
Mhm.
We also try to make the event fun, like play
Yep.
some music. So like again, this challenge is still educating how this event works,
Mhm.
who we are. But
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
does it apply to you guys too?
Yeah, I hear you because I think even the swap concept is not new to everyone, because I guess
Yeah,
at some point you've swapped clothes with your siblings or with your friends, but in
yeah,
a larger scale where it's a community base that you don't know everyone who is joining the
yeah,
swap. So that's
yeah,
where I think the doubt comes, because you don't know where the clothes are coming from, have they washed it. So I guess what you have mentioned, education really plays a vital role in convincing someone who have not tried it, especially those who are living in the negative mindset that was passed on to them. May not necessarily be true, but that has been the kind of belief that was passed on to you, and then now you
yeah,
believe it. But seeing it that it's not necessarily true, and there's a lot of ways for us to address it, then people are
yeah,
becoming more open to do that. So
for sure.
same thing for us. It's always going to be about the education part, and I guess what you were just mentioning also of trying to make it a cooler event for everyone to be welcome, and
Yeah,
at the same time to not think of it just as a secondhand activity, but it's also
yeah,
about building the community. It's about creating
yeah,
engagement, and it's also um, refreshing our wardrobe in a way that would not hurt the planet and our wallet, because it's saving us money as well. So there's just a lot of factors that can definitely help us in how we can grow this movement. So with that said,
yeah.
my next question would be, what do you think would help us to move the needle in swapping to make it more mainstream?
I would say so. Instagram plays an important role right now. I think
Mhm.
most of the clothing swap organizations are running based on Instagram. Um, when you when you Google when you search on Google, I usually sometimes look at news. So that's how I found out more accounts too.
Right,
So I think the media can report more how clothing
right.
swap works, as well
Mhm.
as even like magazines, right? So because um, magazine or sometimes even on TV.
Yep, yep.
So like just like telling people these ideas are out there, um, come try it out. Like if it doesn't work for you, then it's okay. But I think right now it's mainly based on Instagram and word of mouth.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a very true for anything that is new. If once people or the mainstream media or anyone that holds power or influence, if they start talking about it, I guess more people would want to listen and is interested to explore. So
Yes.
with you, like for example, if you talk to different people and have not swapped yet, what's your like to go to line, not to convince them but like to tell them like to try on swapping, like
Do you want to save money and the environment at the same time?
yes, yes.
Yeah, so like I would sometimes I'll show them the pieces that, oh, I got this from my last swap, and
Mm,
then or they would just say, oh, you look good, like, oh, where did you get this? And then I started talking the conversation, and I was
right,
like,
right.
really, it looks still so new, right? It looks nice, and then so they kind of get this concept and they just come next time. But I think for me, saving money, that's a
Yes,
big selling point.
yes,
Because
yes.
basically just pay for like entrance fee, or like for me because it's event based, entrance fee, or like you guys is subscription based, and
Yeah,
you can like basically swapping clothes unlimited, like just keep going and you just wear and then return it and then swap it again next time.
exactly,
So
exactly.
what's
Yeah,
better
I
than
think
that?
yeah, I think this reason that you're giving is very much
Mm,
underestimated, that like how much money that you can actually save if you swap. Because come to think of it, like because the challenge also that what I'm seeing here, I'm not sure if it's applicable to you, is um it's related to again raising the awareness. Like not
yeah,
everyone would understand the economics of swapping, which I'm sure you can relate because you're an accountant and it's about numbers. So
yeah,
not yeah, right. So not everyone on the get-go would understand the economics of swapping, because a they are giving their clothes, they felt like they're giving away that is valuable to them.
yeah,
B, they're paying an entrance fee or a subscription fee
yeah,
for them to
yeah.
participate. So on the get-go they would
The
be like,
mindset, yeah.
wait, yeah, wait, I'm giving you my clothes, I'm paying money to join this, like
Yeah,
what is it for me? But if they would like start realizing that, okay, for the first reason that you are I mean like the first concern that you're giving clothes, ask yourself, like with all of these clothes that you are no longer using, what could have you done if there's no
yeah.
clothes left, right? You could have given
Sitting
it
in your
away
closet.
for free, yes, or just in your closet, like
Yeah.
accumulating dust. Why not bring it in and then earn some points, or exchange it for some other things that you will not use, and
Yeah.
then with the money, I mean that you will use, and then with the money, the entrance, it's like, for example, if you give away 5 items and you can get 5 items, in
Yeah.
reality, even if you go to the second shop, the second hand store or thrift, with like for example, like for us, our one time swap is $35. If you get five
Mm.
items, it's definitely more than $35, right?
Yes.
So let's go for a Zara dress. A Zara dress is already about $80 to $100.
Yeah.
So having explained that, and people would understand that, oh, I can actually save money, but it's not right away the
Getting that
idea is
concept.
yeah, exactly. So I guess like the whole conversation of like telling them like this is how much you can save, and I think it's also for us who are doing this to bring up the numbers and like tell them like, hey, if you swap this X amount, this is actually how much you're saving. So I think that could be one thing that we can do, I guess.
Yeah, because I think for you guys, you own a store, like the rent, the utilities, like the staffing, like all those extra costs that have to pay. For me, just running the events a lot lower. I just pay for the venue cost and sometimes the food, but still like the hours I put behind the events and then like
Right.
looking for volunteers. I think most of my event I organized like 3-4 events, and then my
Wow.
almost my whole family came out to help me as volunteer.
It's a family activity now.
Yeah, but I also have like volunteers I found on Instagram to come help me too, so which I'm
Nice.
grateful. But this is like that's how we try to keep it low cost and
Yeah,
for the yeah.
exactly. And if, even if you scale up, that's going to be also one thing that you would need to charge higher, and for everyone to understand it that, there is a cost of running
Yeah.
a shop, even if it's for the
Yeah.
common good of everyone, there is still a cost.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've mentioned you've organized a couple of swaps already. What were
Yeah.
like some of your favorite moments that you had, like even after or during the events?
Um, I would say favorite moment is how appreciate people are um like having this community,
Mm-hmm.
like just to meet people and swap clothes, just to know like the clothes they're wearing is how harmful it is sometimes for the industrial the world, I mean, how
Mm-hmm.
it's hurting other people. They just like sometimes after the event they came to me saying, oh, thank you so much for doing it, or like message me on Instagram like, thank you so much for doing it. Like there's a few people I feel like that's like my motivation doing it. And
Yeah.
even because it's like I think for my clothing swap, I don't like treat it like a business, more like a community. So
Mm-hmm.
I encourage people to organize themselves too. Like if they have any questions, just come to ask me too, right? Like I'm free most of the time, except when I'm
Yeah.
taking care of my baby, to answer your question. And like that's the whole point. Like it's not just me doing it. Like I want everyone know this idea and then they just do it on themselves too.
Yep, yep. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
something that what I really love most also in being in this platform of swapping and promoting swapping, because I totally agree with what you've mentioned that this is beyond about being a business. It's
Mm-hmm.
actually building that kind of community where the willingness to help each other is there. At the same
Yeah.
time, it's a fun way because I guess fashion, everyone wear clothes, so everyone is kind of affected or should be involved in this kind of movement, because yeah, you need to own clothes, but at the same time the impact that you are creating of you organizing this specific event is, you're forging friendships from other people that you may not know and may have not met if it's not
Yeah.
because of the event. So that's, I
Yeah,
think,
for
I
sure.
agree. Yeah, the kind of culture and the kind of community that you are building, that is one priceless impact that you can take from organizing. And I agree with
Definitely.
that kind of feeling. Like that's
Yeah.
always been our memorable and favorite stories.
Do you have any favorite stories? Like
Yeah,
one of your favorites?
like if I like, it's so funny because if someone would ask me this question, I can never pinpoint like a specific favorite one, because there's just so much, like what
That's
you've
true.
mentioned, like a simple thank you, a DM to us of like telling that the story of them finding what swapping is for them, or a simple when we post something, because we're very much like we repost a lot of stuff. So when someone posts like, oh, I got this dress from the swap that I had, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
and then someone will comment of like, oh, that's actually my dress. I'm so happy
Oh,
that it's
yeah,
on
yeah,
you,
yeah.
right? So that kind of simple of interaction gives us that kind of strength, or it refuels us to keep going. And even, I'm sure you can relate how tiring it is to organize like a physical swap
Yeah.
event. Like, honestly, the preparation and the management that you need to do is
Running
ridiculous.
around. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's fun, having
Yeah.
this kind of feedbacks, or it felt very rewarding and satisfying if you see the fruits, even with the simple gesture of saying thank you, or just
Yes,
sharing the story of like, yeah, I got this from the swap, I'm so happy, blah blah blah. So yeah,
for
actually
sure.
I cannot
There's so
pinpoint
many.
one. Yeah, because it's just so many, and I don't want to play favorites because they're all they're all special, I would say. So
I
I
got
know
you.
that I know
Yeah.
that I don't want to take so much of your time because it's also your
Oh,
resting
no
time, your
problem.
you time. Yes. So my last question would be, what do you think is the power of swapping to you?
Power swapping. I think the keyword is building communities. Um, like a group of people get together, swapping clothes, not just saving money, but also like sharing, oh, where did they get the clothes, and telling the story, building friendship. Um, yeah, just like sharing the fashion, but without harming the world and people.
Yes.
That's the power of swapping.
Oh wow. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Ali. There you go. So I think I agree with the power of swapping. Is what power of swapping to you? Because I think the community is really looking for
mhm.
more. Like, I think we're done with a very transactional relationship when we just, hand over our hard earned money to the company and get the product. I think it's no longer working. What we need more is that kind of engagement and the community that
Yeah,
believes the same value that we have. So I really appreciate what you're doing in Calgary, and hopefully we can meet someday when
for sure.
travel is when
I
travel
know.
when travel is permitted. Yeah, so thank you so much, Ali, for your time, and we
Thank
look
you.
forward to more events that you will be organizing.
For sure. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Okay,
Okay.
thanks everyone for tuning in. I hope you get inspired and get some good insights from Ali, who have been organizing Clothing Swap in Calgary, Canada. And we will see you again for the next episode. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.